fuck causes that?
So you
Is
think that they
demons?
tap into something? They tap into a dark energy.
I think it's a part of everything and maybe a part of us, which is why you can talk about the Mongols and what the fuck they did, and why you talk about the Comanches and how it took like 100 years for people to conquer Texas because they just kept getting slaughtered.
Unbelievable
Everybody
savagery.
got slaughtered.
Yeah. Well, they also had that horse tech.
They have horse tech. They also had multiple arrows in their fingers, and these dudes had muskets. It was musket time. It wasn't until they came up with the Colt 45. It wasn't Colt 45. It was
The revolver.
Yeah, Colt revolver.
Colt revolver.
Colt revolver was the first time they ever could shoot more than once at a time, and it changed the game.
Not enough spoken about that in history and how that like carved out America on the planet. Did the Colt 45 create?
It wasn't a Colt
America?
45, whatever.
Sorry,
the
did
Colt revolver, yeah,
create America?
It kind of did, because if someone didn't come up, you know, they didn't think that was necessary in war, so they weren't even going to like utilize it. And then the Texas Rangers were the first people to go, I think I see a fucking need to shoot multiple bullets.
Because these guys got 4
rapid
hours.
fire. 'Cause these guys were riding on horseback, shooting under the horse's neck.
So they would dip
They
to
would
the
hang
side
themselves on the side. They would hold on to the side of the horse, and they would shoot past the horse's neck.
What is holding them on the side?
They're
Are
like
they saddled or are they
They're like-
bareback?
they would do bareback. They would hold on. They had incredible grip with their legs, but they had like different reins and things and ways they would hold on to the horses. But you would just hang on to the horse and shoot underneath its body, so it used its body as a shield.
As a fucking shield.
Until bang, 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 bang.
Good luck.
And then they're like, oh no.
It's over.
Apparently there's some wild stories about medicine men that blessed their warriors. They would like, you know, there were real shaman, and then there was also con men, even in the world of Native Americans. Like, we want to think about Native Americans like they were, you know, they were in tune with the land.
They also had snake oil salesmen.
They had snake oil salesmen. They did. So they had fake medicine men. They would tell them, I will put a spell on you, and you will never be killed by the white man's bullet. And so they would do this fucking, they were just making it up. And then all of a sudden, this dude's got a Henry rifle, and he's shooting from 200 yards.
What Henry rifle is the...
Henry rifle's like an old school Wild
action.
West rifle. And they were shooting people. What does a Henry rifle look like? It is a pump action, right? The old school ones? Show me a photo of one of them old school. It says, well, the Henry rifles, they still make Henry rifles today. They make some dope rifles. But this is back then. And then this dude's head's exploding 100 yards away. And they're like, oh, no. Because now they're realizing these guys can shoot from really far. They can shoot from several hundred yards away with some of these, like, more modern rifles.
Well, that's like, when did rifles become accurate? Because my understanding of the muskets was it was kind of a guess.
Kind of a guess.
Right? Like, right? Like, I was reading a little bit about muskets, and it was like, I think it wasn't until they did like the spiraled barrel or something like that.
It's called rifling. That's why it's called a rifle. See, the difference between a rifle and a musket is not just the way the powder knocks. You had a flint, and the flint would make a spark.
Goes.
It would light the gunpowder, and the ball would go.
Yeah.
But a rifle actually has rifling. So there's like a pattern to the barrel.
So it
the
spins
inside.
the bullet
has
as it
the bullet
comes out.
spinning. Okay, so you shot that arrow today,
Yeah.
right? If you notice the back of the arrow, it has fletchings.
Those are
Do you see
the
those?
wings on
Yes,
it. Yeah.
exactly.
And
now, in the old days, those were feathers.
Yeah.
They would use them to steer the arrow, but now we use like a plastic. And those feathers, those are AAE max veins, and so they're all like at an angle, and there's 4 of them. So as that arrow's coming, it's twisting and turning.
Oh, you
It's
want the
spinning.
turn because the spin is what creates the accuracy.
Exactly. It keeps it accurate. And then there's also broadheads that accentuate the damage that's caused up by the spin. There's a type of broadhead called a single bevel broadhead. So like, this is a real Native American broadhead. That's a real one.
So this would be the tip of an arrow.
Yes.
This has
That's a
been on
real
an
one.
arrow.
That was, you know, who knows how many hundreds of years old before someone pulled it out of the ground. Yeah. Yeah, that's old as fuck. I mean, maybe it was from the 1800s, maybe it was from the 1700s, but so that is an ancient broadhead, right? Now, a modern one, they have ones that have an edge like this on one side, but not on the other. And what
Explain that.
happens is, so like, see how there's an edge here and there's an edge here
Yeah.
on both sides,
Yeah.
okay? If it's beveled in on both sides to a point, it looks like a teepee,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if it's only on one side, it looks like that. And when it's on one side, it causes it to spin through the body cavity.
Oh, so it just
and
tears
cause
up
more
your body
damage.
when it gets in
Yeah,
there.
it continues to spin.
Oy.
That's called a single bevel broadhead.
Oh, it's like a hollow tip. Their version of a hollow tip bullet.
Their version of a hollow tip. But very good because it penetrates bone, because it's a single blade.
Oy, oy,
There's a
oy.
lot going on with those things, man.
When you see in the movies where they do the thing where they snap the arrow and they pull it out, I guess, the other side.
You could do that.
Is that how you? Okay, let's say you get shot with an arrow. Arrow stuck. Is it just yank out the opposite way, or is it snap
No, you want to push it through.
and then push it through?
Yeah, if it's poking out your back, definitely don't try to pull it back. 100%. Also, leave it in. If you get shot with an arrow and it's poking out of your body, leave it in and get to a hospital.
Because you'll be able to stop the bleeding, hopefully in the hospital. But if it just starts to go,
The arrow in your body will help stop bleeding far more than pulling the arrow free. Then everything would just bleed.